Severe weather is in the forecast for the plains, the lower Mississippi River Valley into the southeast, and even up into the northeast this afternoon. We're going to take a look at all of that, as well as the threat over the next couple of days here in our severe weather outlook. And we're going to combine that with your Thursday forecast so you know what to expect as you go through your day-to-day. Then we'll get into the weekend outlook. We'll take a look at beach weather and even geological weather and a look down the road to see what the long range has in store. All of those segments will be broken out in the description of this video, so you can skip right where you need to get to. But right now we're going to focus on severe weather, and we have a threat of severe weather, a slight risk here from the Nebraska Panhandle into southern South Dakota, just east of Pierre. A marginal risk surrounds that from around Sioux Falls down into the Front Range of the Rockies down to Santa Fe, from Houston up into Arkansas, also Little Rock down to over to Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi. And we get into the southeast, we're looking at places like Columbus, Atlanta, and Boone, North Carolina, even up in the northeast, Scranton, over to New York City. You could have a couple of wind reports later today. Tornadoes are really not all that prevalent out here in the risk, at least, except until you get down here toward southeast Texas into the marginal risk that extends up toward Memphis. There's a spin in the atmosphere, a piece of energy that's just been plaguing the southern plains that is going to continue to promote the development of potentially a few tornadoes through the afternoon. But wind is really the primary threat we're looking at today, particularly in the slight risk area, and hail as well. What's driving all of this? So the question is always, what is driving severe weather? And it could be a number of things, but really we're not seeing any major troughs coming in that are going to produce widespread severe weather and tornado outbreaks. What we're seeing instead is sort of fast flow across the north, a little bit of a split flow out in the Pacific that's sending some waves of energy in here to central and northern California into the northern plains. And these little speed maxes, as designated by these colors in the mid-levels, help to set off shower and thunderstorms. They create lift, and if there's instability, that's what you're going to get. This big low pressure in the mid-levels, upper level low here, mid-level low, whatever you want to call it, has been plaguing the southern plains with heavy rain and severe weather and all of the above. And we're going to see that continue to shift east over the next couple of days very, very slowly and bring plenty of unsettled conditions to the southeast up into the Ohio Valley. We could even see a little surface reflection form tomorrow and enhance maybe a little bit more in the way of thunderstorm activity through the afternoon today and up into the Ohio Valley tomorrow. So we'll watch all of that play out, but here we go. We put this in motion from this morning. See that low just meander east through the afternoon and evening hours. Flow continues across the north. These little pieces of energy. Here comes another one in as we get into tomorrow. That's going to produce a little bit more in the way of a wider spread severe weather event, potentially across the Front Range of the Rockies, where we'll see a trough set up here. Ridging begins to develop as we go on into the weekend in the northern plains, which could put a cap on the atmosphere for parts of the southern and central plains. And that little trough continues to slide to the east, and it's going to provide some lift as we get on into the weekend. So you can see that here through Saturday afternoon. As we get on into the Saturday evening, it's still very, very slow. So east of that trough is where you're going to find lift and potentially showers and thunderstorms. This afternoon, or actually this morning, plenty of rain from Montana all the way over into Wisconsin, down here in Missouri as well, and then Tennessee. This big area looks like a bow echo. It's really not a lot of severe weather here, but a strong area of showers and thunderstorms as we have that spin prevalent in the atmosphere. We'll roll this on through the afternoon. Early afternoon, we're starting to see showers and thunderstorms break out around the Front Range of the Rockies. This big area of spins continuing to push shower and thunderstorms back into southern Texas, into Louisiana. Thunderstorms breaking out Kansas into Missouri, all the way into the southeast as well, just scattered thunderstorms all over the place. And then Montana again through Wisconsin, we're seeing plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity too. So those will continue to flourish through the afternoon and into the overnight hours in some spots. As we get on into 7, 8 o'clock, look at the radar in North Carolina, you're getting hammered. Arkansas down to Mississippi, hammered. Georgia, South Georgia, plenty of rain there. Minnesota up through Wisconsin into the Dakotas, plenty of rain there. Front Range of the Rockies, plenty of rain there. So these showers and thunderstorms are going to be capable of producing large hail damaging winds as we go through the afternoon and evening, and overnight it's going to persist in terms of the activity through the northern plains and into the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Carolinas as well. So watch out for a few rumbles of thunder overnight. Tomorrow, the threat, it really is centered around Montana, the Black Hills, the Bighorns here down to through the Black Hill Front Range of the Rockies, southern plains into northern Texas, the slight risk area from the panhandle of Texas north of Amarillo, all the way up through the panhandle of Nebraska back into just west of Butte, Montana. Not really a great tornado threat. A few tornadoes would not be out of the question. Wind and hail are the primary threats tomorrow. A little bit better of an organized potentially event up and down those areas. So watch out for that as you go through your Friday. Saturday, that shifts east a little bit from Casper through most of Nebraska, most of Kansas, the panhandles of Texas, and Oklahoma down into southwest Texas. Generally, shower and thunderstorm activity could take place anywhere except for the western third of the country, or western fourth of the country rather, in the northeast. Everywhere else is looking like shower and thunderstorm activities are going to be quite likely through the course of the day. High temperatures, quite cool across the north, 60s up here in the northern sections of the northeast, 70s below that, but 60s and 70s dominate the northern tier till you get out into the Spokane area and western sections of the northwest, where we'll see upper 80s, 80s from most of the midsection of the nation down through the mid-Atlantic into the southeast. We're going to see 80s and 90s, muggy conditions, a little cooler under that low pressure out here in the central plains, south central plains, and then hot in the desert southwest, cooling off as that trough works in to the eastern, or the western sections rather, of the Pacific Northwest. I said that backwards earlier, but the eastern sections of the Pacific Northwest is where it's going to be hot. That leads us into today's weather IQ question, and just like yesterday and the day before, it's about the moon. So what is this? Here's the question. What is the term for the second full moon in one calendar month? Many of you may know this. Is it the red moon, the blue moon, the supermoon, or the eclipse moon? So if you know it, write it in the comment section. If you don't, just wait till the end of the show and I will let you know what it is, and then you can tell all your friends what you learned on Cold Rain's Weather World. In addition to severe weather, we have flooding concerns for portions of the United States. We're going to take a look at that now. Before we do, though, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notifications by clicking the bell icon. That way you know when Cold Rain puts out another video, and we'll do those about every day, do a short as well. Like the content and make a comment in the comment section if there's a suggestion for the show. If you have a prayer request, something I could pray over, please put it in there. I pray over all of you every day. Please pray for me. We could definitely use it continually, so thank you for that. But anyway, let's take a look here and see what's going on in terms of our water vapor imagery. And you can see a couple of interesting features here. We've got a feature pushing into the north here. We've got another big upper level low back in this area here, and then we've got another feature kind of pushing in through this section here. So all of these little pieces of energy on the map are working together to create pockets of lift, and you can see those kind of brighter colors. Those are where we've got shower and thunderstorms going off. So much of the nation's under cloud cover this morning. Looking at the actual radar imagery, we can see that the simulated radar actually did a good job picking this up. But Montana over to Wisconsin, we're seeing showers out there this morning. Big heavy rain in eastern Texas. We put that on into motion. You can kind of see how this is just very, very slow to move. So we've got flash flood warnings where we've seen several inches of rain already east of Dallas and southeast Texas. And then we've got some rain working through the Great Lakes, but nothing major up there, and the rest of the southeast is looking good. Here is our alerts map. Canadian wildfire smoke is back, folks, and it is going to persist for a few days. That boundary has settled into the northern portion of the country, and it's allowed that smoke to filter in, and that could last for a few days. So we've got all kinds of air quality alerts across the north up here. Extreme heat watches are up for the weekend through Monday for much of the lower Arizona area, from Tucson, Tombstone, places like that, Phoenix. And then over here in Texas is really where we're going to focus our attention, because we've got big time flash flooding going on in some of these areas where you've seen 4 inches of rain or more. So flash flood warnings are here, and then you can see flash flood watches are up for a good portion of eastern Texas and Arkansas and Louisiana also through the next day or two. And so we look at the Weather Prediction Center, moderate risk of flash flooding, and that's underway right now. Slight risk extends all the way up into Arkansas. Another slight risk up here where we see training of rain, and that boundary that sits there, they're just going to be waves moving along it. So we're going to see training up there as well. Marginal risk here in the basically foothills and mountains of the southern Appalachians. Now, our day 1 and 2, so this is a 48-hour precipitation total. These blues, the purple, let's focus on the purple. The purple areas really are 2 inches or more. And so look at this big wide area of 2 inches or more. And these red areas, you get into basically 1.5 inches is purple, by the way. And then you get into these red areas, you're looking at 3 and 4 inches of rain potentially, even more than that, maybe approaching 5 inches more over the next couple of days. So where these shower and thunderstorms are occurring, they're occurring big time, and you're getting lots and lots of rain. That flooding threat exists through the afternoon today. There's that frontal boundary. It's sort of sagging through here, allowing that Canadian wildfire smoke in, but also serving as a focus for shower and thunderstorm activity tomorrow. The excessive rain threat shifts over Arkansas. Severe threat is what we looked at before, and to the Bighorns in Black Hills and places like that, Missouri Valley, back down into the southern plains. Shower and thunderstorm activity across much of the country, with the exception of the west and the northeast as well. We get on out into Saturday. The threat is about the same. We're going to see little pockets of severe weather potentially back here along the front range of the Rockies into the plains, maybe see a slight risk as we get on into the time period. We'll see how that shakes out in terms of defining a better focus for those shower and thunderstorms. But I'm not expecting a big widespread event. But again, heavy rain possible down here across the southern Mississippi Valley. Frontal boundary moving, basically from the northern plains in through the Ohio Valley off the coast. And so that'll be a good focus for shower and thunderstorm activity too. Looking at high temperatures, much like today, Friday is going to feature cool weather across the north, 50s and 60s. Finally, some cooling across the northwest as we've been expecting over the past few days. 80s and 90s dominate much of the southern 2/3 of the country, with the exception of being under that upper low, slow to move over Missouri, but getting hot in the desert southwest, approaching 110 as we get on into the weekend. Saturday temperatures, again, very cool in the northeast up through the Great Lakes, warming up a little bit in the central plains. We're going to see ridging take over there. Warm across much of the south, 80s and 90s again, very hot in the desert southwest. And then finally, Sunday, if you're out and about, same regime, a little bit warmer in the plains, in the north anyway, and then through the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, 70s up in the northeast, 50s and 60s for high temperatures. So not going to be great beach weather up there, and it's going to be interesting beach weather along the south. And we'll take a look at your beach forecast here in just a minute. That brings us into tropical update time, and the GFS loves tropical weather. It loves it so much, in fact, that it shows tropical conditions in the Gulf every single day, whether that's right or not. It doesn't care. It's just going to bring up another tropical storm into the southern tip of Texas. At least it's not a Cat 5 this time and obliterates the whole entire southeast, but it still is showing that. No other model is, and so we're going to continue to discount the GFS for now. Satellite picture looks a little interesting here. We can see plenty of clouds out here in the Atlantic, but no real activity to contend with. So nothing in the Gulf, nothing to worry about, no big waves coming off of Africa. So we're all clear out here in the Atlantic. As a matter of fact, the National Hurricane Center has nothing going on in the Atlantic over the next several days. Eastern Pacific is where we've been finding all the action. Those tropical storms that were out here have dissipated. We've got another area of disturbed weather that could form into a tropical storm, 90% chance over the next 7 days. Probably, again, will dissipate as it moves to the north and over to the west. I don't think it's going to bother anybody. I'm not expecting anything out there, but that's what's going on in the tropics for now. Taking a look down the road at the long-range pattern getting us through next week at least. Beyond that, it's a little bit more difficult and nebulous to try to figure out and pin down, but we're going to take a look at what happens through the weekend and the next week with our upper level anomaly map. This shows you where ridges and troughs are and where the jet stream is and how the weather at the surface might behave based on what we see here. So if we roll this along from Saturday, we've got a big ridge over the plains and we've got flow around that, and that's what's bringing in the little bouts of shower and thunderstorm activity across the north, and then this low pressure still trapped in the southeast. But as we go on out into Sunday, into Monday, that ridge starts to weaken a little bit. The signal is still here, still got a weakness here over the southeast, basically the Mississippi Valley. So we'll I'm expecting to continue to see showers and thunderstorms plague the southeast at least a good portion of next week if that continues to be the case. And it looks like it will be. You've got another little weakness coming in here to the southwest, moving east. This other one is still here in the Tennessee Valley. So along the southeast, we're going to see plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity, a new trough working into the Pacific Northwest, but no real big systems coming in. So nothing to worry about in terms of major severe weather outbreaks, just fast flow with embedded short waves that are going to spark shower and thunderstorms on a daily basis. We get on out here toward next weekend, we start to see bigger ridging take over, maybe put a cap on some of that activity. May allow some of it to kind of swing through the northeast as well, instead of so much the southeast. We're starting to see a little bit more in the way of ridging across the southeast and the southern tier of the country, so we may get a break from shower and thunderstorm activities we get on toward next weekend. And as a matter of fact, if we take a look at the precipitation, this is valid for Monday at 8 a.m. East Coast time. Moving this forward, what you want to notice is where the footprint is and how the rain progresses in terms of the accumulation of the rain over the course of time. So Monday morning, big footprint up here in the north, Midwest essentially, and down here, lower Mississippi Valley into the southeast. So watch what happens as we go on out into time. Tuesday, Wednesday, you see how everything is just getting bigger and bigger, more, the colors are getting brighter and brighter and deeper and all of that. Look at this. This tells us something very important. It tells us that the biggest signal for rain is in this area up in the Midwest, right in here, from eastern Montana through Wisconsin. It also tells us the biggest signal for rain as well down in the lower portion of the country is down into the southeast, mid-south, lower Ohio Valley. And so watch all of that just progress as the week rolls along. So we're Saturday of next week, Sunday, and then Monday, we're continuing to see these areas are favored for shower and thunderstorms. So I'm expecting as we go through the course of next week, warm temperatures for much of the country under that ridge, but these little weaknesses coming in here, energy in the flow is going to continue to maintain the pattern of rain across the north and rain through much of the eastern sections of the country, with maybe the exception of the northeast and down in Florida as well. So watch just for general shower and thunderstorm activity. It's summertime weather, folks. Temperatures, how does that look? Well, I'm expecting it to be warm, and so we'll see if it is. I've already looked at this, so I know that it is. But if we take a look here, this is days 1 through 5 averaged out. It takes away the bouncing of each day, but if we look through days 1 through 5 out, this takes us through basically the 17th of June. Now this is days 2 through 6, days 3 through 7. So you can see how the warmth is sort of progressing to the east. It gets a little bit warmer over time as we get on out into next week and get toward Friday of next week. This is the 20th. And then through Saturday, look at that. So we just progress on out. By the time we get to days 5 through 10 or 6 through 10, much of the nation has warmed up with the exception of maybe the southern tier and the Pacific Northwest. So we're starting to get into a warm regime. It's going to be wet, so that's good. We'll at least have some rain in the east. You guys need it in the desert Southwest. And so that's what's going on with all of that. And that takes us to our space weather and geologic update. Fortunately, we don't have a lot going on there. There's a coronal hole that's turning in. It is toward the south, and so it looks like this half of a smiley face here. But fortunately, it's going to be a little too far south to shoot any additional solar wind toward our area. The bright spots that you see turning around are sunspots, and they're going to be moving toward us over the coming days, so we'll watch that. We did have a couple of filaments go off and eject some plasma into space. You can kind of see that here in the northern limb, and then another big blast will come forward out here on the east. You'll see that in a minute. It's kind of neat to see that, but fortunately not Earth directed. No volcanoes in the Pacific Ring of Fire that are new, other than the 4 that we've been watching, so nothing going on there, and a few light shakes, but nothing since that big Columbia quake of magnitude, I think it was 6.2 a couple of days ago, nothing of note since then. So thank goodness for that. All is quiet on the geological and space weather front for now. And now we'll wrap things up with our beach weather forecast. So if you've got big beach plans this weekend, heading out to the beaches for a long weekend, folks, could have a rainy go of it. May have to contend with a few showers or thunderstorms and dodge those as you lay out on the beach, particularly along the southeastern and mid-Atlantic beaches. As you get on up into the northeast, you may find a little bit better of a time earlier on in the weekend. But if we click on any of these areas, we can see, if we go down here to say Florida, we can take a look at a couple of these beaches down here, get down toward Miami Beach. We look at the forecast for today: showers and thunderstorms, plenty of chances of showers and thunderstorms every single day. So you can kind of see that here. We can look at another beach if we want to, maybe up here toward Fort Lauderdale, 50% chance showers and thunderstorms, a little bit less as you get on into over the weekend. So maybe not so bad down there toward Florida. If you get on up into the Carolinas, Georgia, up into Virginia, you're going to see plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity all up and down the coast. So just prepare for that if you go. It won't be a washout all day long, but certainly as you get into the afternoon, pop-up showers and thunderstorms as well. And that brings us to our answer for today's Weather IQ question. The question was about the moon. What is the term for a second full moon in one calendar month? Many of you probably know this. A red moon, a blue moon, a supermoon, or an eclipse moon. And the answer, of course, is a blue moon. And we see those occasionally. That's why they're called a blue moon. And you know the phrase, it happens once in a blue moon. It's not all that often. It's just on a rare occasion. But we will see those from time to time. We just had a strawberry moon, actually, over the last couple of days. So moon is full. It is now waning. It's on the other side of it, heading down. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you've had a good time with me today. I've enjoyed being with you today. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and we will be back tomorrow with another Cold Rain's Weather World, the most fun-filled, action-packed weather show on the internet. Take care, folks. Have a blessed afternoon.